Now the post office is asking Harris to put a mailbox in his front yard. He either does that or he'll have to start picking up his mail from a cluster box, kind of like this one. We've not been able to confirm an address yet, but Roanoke police were here serving a warrant, and the warrant did not go as planned, is what we've been told. This decision to push back Brown's trial is because of COVID-19. We've been told by Brown's attorney that he himself has tested positive for the virus. The wind is the main concern here because it's bringing down trees, and those trees are bringing down utility poles with them. The Webb campaign is on the lookout for those absentee and mail-in ballots. You can see that he's been inching closer into Bob Good's lead, and he mentioned in a Facebook Live to his supporters that he is not conceding this race just yet. State police tell us Austin's car was found just a mile beyond where I'm standing, in the middle of the road, blocking traffic. Based off of evidence, they say Austin had been expecting confrontation. Montgomery County deputies were here earlier today. They seemed to be scouting the area and seeing if the tree sitters were still here. They were. It's unclear what the next move for law enforcement is if the tree sitters decide to stay. The tests conducted by United Airlines and the Department of Defense were performed on larger aircraft, ones that don't typically land at airports like here in Roanoke. But I have not had a hot dog yet. I don't care what people say. I'm wearing the hat. And even if I wanted a hot dog, I would have to wait a long time in line because the turnout here has been absolutely fantastic. It won't be the Mount Rogers Health District administering these tests. Because of the high positivity rate of COVID-19, they've called in the National Guard to help. Governor Northam reassured me that if anyone is to test positive for COVID-19, they'll receive the care they need here in the Commonwealth. That putting folks back at work, back in the class, back out socializing could help them put away the thoughts of turning to drugs. In the past, doctors have had to go through a training course and an application process, which could be lengthy. Registrations having to go through the Department of Justice and Health and Human Services. Now that process is done away with. A spokesperson from the Mountain Valley Pipeline says the safety of all those involved in the pipeline process, including those who oppose it, is a priority. That being said, they expect the tree sitters to adhere to the law and vacate the area. This is a heavier snow, a wet snow, and I speak to that with experience as it slides down my neck and my shirt. So if you decide to go out in the next hour or so, a scarf might be a wise choice. A lot of customers have been saying the restaurant mirrors that of Clark Griswold's house in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And if you've seen the movie, which I have, and you look at that, I mean, come on, guys. It's a pretty spot-on comparison. Back in the classroom, students in Pulaski County are now learning in person 4 days a week. They're virtual 1 day a week. Right now, 80% of students are on this schedule, while the remaining 20% are learning online full-time. The superintendent says the only thing stopping the school district from 5 days of in-person learning is the current transportation guidelines, but he hopes to get there by the end of the year. WFXR's Parker King spoke with Dr. Kevin Sears. 4 days of in-person learning isn't new for Pulaski County schools, but they had to transition to more virtual days during the holiday season due to a lack of substitutes. Since that time, we have created several incentives to draw more people into the substitute pool. Superintendent Dr. Kevin Sears also made a standby list of every person in the district with a teacher's license to step in when needed, which includes himself. Being the first day back in person, there's an underlying sense of concern here, but Sears says there are plans in place for both teachers and students to make sure everyone is safe and healthy. We've changed all of our transition routines in our schools. We've changed how meals are distributed and how students are seated for meals to maximize all the space we have available.
It's fun being here and seeing all my teachers and all my friends. Students like Jeremiah Turner are having to adjust to a new schedule and also having all of their classes in 1 day.
More assignments for homework, but it means you get to come to class, sit in a classroom with your friends. Is that worth it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Turner has looked at the glass half full when having to learn virtually, saying it could benefit him if he takes online courses in college. But for now, he's glad to be back in person.
All this pandemic stuff, I don't really get to see people that much. I like coming to school better, to see everybody, and I get to talk more.
The best thing we can do for our students is to provide them a quality education, and the way that we can best do that is in a face-to-face setting.
Local in Pulaski County, Parker King, WFXR News.
All right, well, there's been a rare black bear attack in Virginia. It happened Saturday night. The victim of that attack is now recovering. The attack happened on the man's property just a few miles from downtown Hillsville in Carroll County. He says he has never seen black bears this close to his home in the 40 years he's lived there. WFXR's Parker King spoke with the man and also the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources to give us tips on how we can protect ourselves from bears.
Until he can put weight back on his leg, Ronnie Dalton is on crutches. He was bow hunting for deer Saturday afternoon, and a deer he was watching was spooked by something below his stand.
So when I looked around, here come a cub bear feeding. And I thought, ooh, this ain't good.
Dalton didn't see the mother and thought he could climb down the stand and make his way back home, which was only 100 yards away.
As soon as I got to the bottom of the tree stand, I looked down the hill, and there the sow was. And as soon as I saw her and she saw me, here she comes.
The best thing you can do is to assume that a sow may be in the area and to treat that situation as if a bear is nearby.
Experts with Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources also say the best thing to do is stand your ground and not run. Dalton says he made noise and waved his arms, but the mother kept coming.
I was right at the stand anyway, so I thought, well, I got to get back up the stand. Maybe I'll have a chance.
That's the worst thing to do for a bear or other carnivore, because it does elicit a response from them.
Dalton only got a few steps up the ladder.
The bear then bit down on Dalton's calf and then threw him what he says 10 feet across the ground, knocking him out cold. Folks who've spoken with Dalton said it was knocking him out that saved his life.
Wildlife biologists say Dalton's case is a rare situation.
The recommendation is to fight back if you have to, rather than play dead or rather than try to get away.
Dalton says he's healing nicely, and even though he experienced a traumatic incident, it's not going to stop him from trying to get back into his tree stand before deer season is over.
I'll definitely go back. I mean, I've hunted all my life. I'm not going to let this deter me, but I'll be better prepared next time, I hope.
Local in Hillsville, Parker King, WFXR News.